While Bitcoin dominance keeps rising, CRO Bitcoin started its breakdown. So what is going on? Well guys, I would say let's strap in and let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only Coin Baron, and this video is sponsored by Vibe, an AI social media platform where you can earn rewards by interacting with AI influencers like the AI Baron, but more about that later. First, I want to focus on what's happening currently on the charts, because what we're experiencing right now is the first sign of a true breakdown here. And also, if you take a look at the pattern we're forming, it's a textbook example of an ascending broadening wedge. And I can also bring it up to show you really what I'm talking about here. So we do have an upper trend line that keeps increasing, and we have a lower trend line that has a less steep slope. So this is what we call an ascending broadening wedge. And there you can also see we do expect more of a breakdown than a break up here. But the next few days will be instrumental to find out if you really are going to continue the breakdown a bit like this here, as it shows in the picture as well. There might be one saving grace though for the CRO Bitcoin chart, which is the support line we're trading at currently, because we have seen in the past it was quite some support or resistance here. But I think the most important one is this one back in November 2024, because you can see went down as low as this line, but then with a wick we started a beautiful reversal, almost tripling the CRO Bitcoin price here. So that's a great sign that we might again have some support here. But also I do need to mention that it's a very important emotional or psychological level as well for traders, because you might see a lot of zeros here. It is 0.000001 Bitcoin per CRO, or 1 million Cronos per Bitcoin. Because of that nice round number, I do expect a bit of dancing around that support line before we get a definitive breakthrough or a true reversal. So do mind that. But of course, guys, that is by no means any financial advice. Even though the CRO Bitcoin pair might break down, that isn't necessarily very bearish, because I just think that Bitcoin might outperform Cronos in the short term. So let's take a quick look at also Bitcoin dominance. This Bitcoin dominance chart is telling you the story of not just CRO versus Bitcoin, but also Ethereum versus Bitcoin, Solana versus Bitcoin, XRP versus Bitcoin, basically every altcoin compared to Bitcoin. And now you just see that Bitcoin is the winner, the clear winner currently. So it is a lot of bleeding into the Bitcoin pair. But again, guys, I think you have to zoom out, because only then you can see the whole picture, where we have times of relative strength for Bitcoin, like the period between 2018 and 2020, or times where you have relative strength for altcoins, like 2017 here and also 2021. So the question is, when will we get that same period? Because I think, guys, it is working like a clock. The only question is when, and I think not if. There still are people debating that we will never ever see an altcoin season again. But I think, guys, as long as we are not going into a true bear market for Bitcoin, I think it's way too early to call for a completely different cycle setup, as we've seen in the last few cycles before. So I'm still waiting for a true altcoin season, and then we can see, I think, also Cronos outperform against ETH outperform. And I think actually talking about Ethereum is key as well. Ethereum has been through a true nightmare the last few weeks because of breakdown of this growth trend line here. And now it kind of retested a very important trend line as well, because that was the high of 2017. 2017 highs have been tested now in 2025. So maybe this is it. Maybe from this point onward, Ethereum can find the strength to truly outperform Bitcoin again. So maybe this is in the bottom, and from this point onwards, we can maybe also find a top for Bitcoin dominance here, even though Bitcoin might have a few more weeks of relative outperformance. And we can also see that on the Bitcoin US dollar chart, because if you zoom out there, you can start to see a few more things, like, for example, this falling wedge. But we're going to talk a bit later after a quick word from our sponsor. Vibe is a social media platform running fully on AI agents. And the cool thing is that soon they will be running their own airdrop program. And all you got to do is chat, earn, and redeem. But how does it work? Well, again, you can earn points by doing various tasks on the platform. for example, chatting, sending gifts, doing voice calls, referring friends, or even creating your own AI. The more you use the platform, the more you can earn. Start using Vibe right now in the link down below. Back though to the Bitcoin chart, because what we're seeing on this chart is the exact opposite of the thing we have seen for CRO Bitcoin, because here we did see this rising wedge pattern because it was going up and also these two lines were broadening. But for Bitcoin, of course, again, it's the opposite because we're going down or falling, and also these two lines are becoming more and more narrow. This is what we call a falling wedge pattern. And because, again, it's the opposite of what we've seen here, we don't expect a breakdown, we expect a breakout to the upside. And the good thing is, the last few days, actually, we have seen something like a breakout because we've been going above these two lines. And to make it even better, if you take a look at where we are, let me remove these two lines quickly, but if you take a look at the purple line, that is a 21-day simple moving average. The 21-day simple moving average has been rough resistance for a long time. So since the breakdown really below 100K, it has been tough to really break above. And we did have an attempt here. To break above it, but unfortunately, due to the tariff fears, we started to go down again. But now tariffs are somewhat priced in, and we do have an attempt of breaking out of the wedge as well at exactly the same time. So those two things colliding makes, I think, it more plausible that we have this time a true breakout above the 21 days. So that's signaling short-term bullishness for Bitcoin. With this pattern, we can also define a new target for Bitcoin because we can utilize the difference between both lines and dragging it to the breakout point. And actually, the fun thing about this target is it will bring us back to about 107K, which basically was where we started this breakdown. So interesting, guys. I'm looking forward to see if in the next few weeks we actually go to the upside. If we then continue with the CRO US dollar chart, I do have some mixed feelings because looking here at the chart, we've broken out of a long-term downtrend. So basically, we've been trending downward since December 2024. But that downtrend has been broken since the AMA with Chris in March 2025. Unfortunately, though, we didn't really keep momentum. And we even retested this downtrend, and I really like this retest. Having this retest being like bullish like it is, that's a good sign. However, it is kind of dangerous for the very, very short term. We do also see a rising wedge here. So previously for Bitcoin, we did see the falling wedge. This is a rising wedge on the daily, so it's a bit less important. So Bitcoin, that was really for a long time frame, also starting in November. But this one is only a few days old. So we did see a breakdown there, a breakdown of the rising wedge, and that's also what we expect. And the target is a bit lower, but we are currently trading right again at the breakout point of this longer trending downtrend. So yeah, I really hope we hold on to this line here at about 8.4 cents to make another attempt at 10 cents once more. But therefore, I think we mainly have to take a look at what Bitcoin is going to do. Is it really going to follow this upward trend? And also, what is the stock market going to do? Is it also going to complete its V-shaped recovery? If so, yeah, then I do think that Bitcoin and also Cronos can show some strength again to go back to 10 cents. Something else to pay attention to for Cronos specifically is the first unlock of 1.16 billion CRO. But I will make sure to update you guys once that unlock actually officially has happened. So don't forget to hit the like button and strap in by subscribing to the channel. And also check out this video if you want to learn more about that unlock of 1.16 billion CRO.